Okay, so that wraps up our agenda for tonight, for the general meeting. And next, we need to go into our board meeting. I wanted to ask if we all want to take a break, or should we just go straight into the board meeting and get it over with? Shall we? Okay, all right. We didn't approve the agenda for the general meeting officially. Maybe we can just say that we approve it orally. Gail, Vivian, Stephanie, do we approve the agenda that we already just went through? Okay,
Yes.
good. Thank you. That's not the official agenda. We can handle this stuff, but I need to learn my procedures better. I'm trying to go by our bylaws in ways that we haven't minded in the past, and so I'm still not totally used to the new procedure of having this divided meeting and approving this and that. Anyway, all right, let's go to our board meeting now and see if we can race through this and get going. So first of all, welcome to our BDNA board meeting for November 2nd, 2023. Our board agenda is in draft. Let me bring it up, and I'm going to share screen just to go through the agenda quickly. Okay. Here is our board agenda, and let me see if I can put it into bigger type so we can see it better. It's going to mess it all up, but that's all right. All right. So we have launched our meeting. Let's go through the agenda and then see whether we approve it. We'll approve the minutes. We'll look at the treasurer's report. We have a good neighbor agreement, a new good neighbor agreement between BDNA and Impact Northwest, which is a very positive one. I need your permission to proceed with reporting to Southeast Uplift how we spent last year or 2023's communications funds and how we propose to spend the new funds in 2024. Then we also have a long series, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 approvals for use of the BDCC under the auspices of the BDNA. And this is quite exciting. Turn of events, that there's more and more demand for what a community center has to offer, especially space. And we will get to each one by one in a moment, but I think this is quite wonderful. And we're getting a lot of support from Impact Northwest, which is the operator of the building. Then I'd like Tina to weigh in on the status of the Spring Green 2024 tasks, which board members have signed up for, and thank you very much. I'll give you a little update on Sparrowhawk and Precision Cast Parts. We made money from one and received a donation from the other, and I am going to tell you all about that. That is the amounts. And then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be working on between now and our meeting in January, because we have a lot of ground to cover, and I will be attending to it. And then if we have time, we'd like to hear a report from Kim DeLeo about what happened at the most recent Southeast Uplift board meeting. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of the agenda. First of all, I move that we approve the agenda. Do I hear a second? Would anyone like to change the agenda?
Yes. Second.
Oh, you're seconding it?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Okay. And how about the rest of us? Are there any nay? Are there any votes against the agenda? No. Okay, let's just say that's been unanimously approved then. Laura Lee has sent the minutes for October to us twice now, so I'm going to assume that we've all read them and she has not received any comments back from the second round. Is that right, Laura Lee?
No more comments.
Okay, then would you like to move approval of the minutes for the 2 meetings of October?
Yes, I move to approve October 2023 board minutes and also the October 2023 general minutes.
Second.
Thank you, Gail. Do I hear any opposition, any nay votes? Okay, we'll assume that we have approved these unanimously. Okay, this is good. We can do it really fast here. All right, so I need to go over the treasurer's report with you real fast for September. And all right, I need to stop sharing that, and then I need to get to the treasurer's report. Okay. All right, very fine. I'm trying, everybody, just a minute. Okay, swell. All right. Okay, for September, for the funds that we have at our command in our Advantage checking account, we began the month with $5,400, and we ended the month with $53.55. So we're down a little bit, but it's not bad. We paid MailChimp $52. We've been using MailChimp a lot to support our partners with ads and publicity and calls for volunteers, and that when we exceed a certain number of or a certain amount of usage, MailChimp raises the rates. But from I think it's been very successful. We've been very helpful to our different partners. For example, we publicized the Lane Food Pantry's need for volunteers, and they got some volunteers out of it. They said we said people are hungry and we need help making sure they get food, and people actually signed up, and so we were able to help the Lane Food Pantry. So that's our only big expense for September, was the MailChimp monthly fee of $52, which is not too bad. And here's the 71 cents that I owed BDNA, which I had accidentally put into the checking account, which is down here. And you can see I got it subtracted out and moved out of the savings account to the checking account. So I am now square with BDNA. And this is the amount, $351.53 that we have had for about a month in our fiscal sponsorship account over at Southeast Uplift. Okay, so that is the treasurer's report. I move that we approve the treasurer's report for the month of September. Do I have a second? Thank you, Gail. Do I hear any opposition to this report, or any worries about the expenditures or anything? Okay, so I moved that we approve. Do I hear any opposition, any nay votes? Okay, we consider it unanimously accepted. Very fine. And now I want to just check something for a moment and see what is next. Okay. We're going to go back to the agenda for a moment, and I am going to share let's see here. Okay. All right, do you see the agenda now? Can you see it? It says good neighbor agreement. Am I sharing the right thing? What do you all see? You see this?
We can see it.
Oh, okay, fine. Thank you very much. All right.
You might want to enlarge, make it larger on the screen though.
Okay, fine. Let me do that. Oops, it's the wrong one. Okay.
Or
Okay.
maybe you can just grab the corner of it, Stephanie, and drag it out so we don't see so much of your desktop.
Okay. Do you mean like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you for suggesting that. All right. Okay. And what is this? Let me get rid of that. Okay, so the Good Neighbor Agreement is this new one would be effective beginning January 24th, and it would be good for 2 years. It's our informal, it's not legally enforceable, but it is a public agreement between Brentwood Darlington Neighborhood Association and Impact Northwest, which operates the community center underneath a contract, in a contract with the school district. It's a very complicated situation, which I won't go into, but we have a good rapport with Impact and an executive director who wants to open up the community center to be more of a community center than it has been in recent years. We want it to become a refuge during times of weather extremes. And then we also want to extend Impact's main programmatic focus, which is averting homelessness, to Brentwood Darlington, so that they'll have offices in Brentwood Darlington in addition to their Burnside site, where people can come in and get the help they need to help to remain in place. So our neighborhood is under a lot of pressure now with rising rents and land values. So we've got people who are in more and more precarious positions as far as being able to hold on to what they call home. So we're very excited that we're going to be able to offer these walk-in services to our community. So that's a 3-part vision that we're naming here in the Good Neighbor Agreement, to just show that we both BDNA and Impact are dedicated to this vision. The two organizations, this is just a description. One's a social service agency that prioritizes preventing homelessness, and then the Brentwood Darlington Neighborhood Association is a nonprofit that serves Brentwood Darlington in several ways. We have special events like movies in the park and recycling. We have forums for candidates running for office. We are communications conduit between residents and city officials, as with the Korean American store owners. We've provided good communications there. And we also try to follow development and transportation matters, and advocate or protest or challenge where necessary. So we're a multifaceted organization. Then the agreement goes on to describe the community center, and we've all been there, so we know what it looks like, and a little bit of the history and the who's the Impact is the sub lessee on a contract with the school district, and the primary lessee is the county of Multnomah. And I won't go any further, but we're trying to straighten out a very complicated legal situation, and that's not really the goal of this Good Neighbor Agreement, to solve that problem. Is just to allude to it, that it exists. So we're saying we get to the more important part now. Each organization will contribute the expertise and labor that its resources allow. So Impact is big and we are little, is what this says. We are going to do what we can to support Impact in its fundraising. And if we can do things here and there, for example, if we had a special gathering to clean up the grounds in the spring, for example, we could do that sort of thing. Or we might be able to seek a grant for, I don't know, a new stove. It just depends, but that would be more our, at our level of ability to contribute to the community center. We will also, we also have a list of privileges that BDNA has. We have a key. We have a right to reserve space as it's available, and we don't have to pay a fee. We have a storage space there. It's in the kitchen right now, our files and so on, but we may even get a little office that's in the front area there in the front lobby. So I'm very hopeful about this because we'll be able to move our big bins of files and promotional material out of the kitchen and be able to go through it and see what's there and rescue what's valuable and recycle what isn't anymore and so on. So I think we're going to get this little office. I'm very excited about it. We're allowed to use all the furnishings of the building in connection with any events that we have there, and we can use the kitchen and its appliances, and we can also use it as our address. So we no longer have to use a mailbox, a USPS mailbox or whatever we were using before. We now use the community center as our home address, which is very convenient. And then we just say that if disagreements arise, we will meet to resolve the difficulties, and that each signed agreement is viable for 2 years, and we'll begin negotiating the new agreement 6 months before the 2-year deadline. So the new agreement will become effective in January. Andy and I both worked through the wording of this thing, and so now I'm presenting it to you. And again, it's not legally binding. It's a friendship, and it's like a public declaration of that we are in accord and working together on a valuable goal, and that BDNA has certain privileges with the building. And that was with the first neighborhood agreement, that a good neighbor agreement that we did, my goal was to lay out what our privileges were, because we didn't have them in writing anywhere. And so now we've gotten more privileges, and they're all in writing now, which I like. But it's also a stronger agreement and expresses more of a partnership than even the first one did. So I'm very happy with it, and I'm hoping that you all will be happy with it. And let me just read the last paragraph. The primary goal of this agreement and the meetings is for Impact Northwest and BDNA to remain on reasonable terms, and to enable the BDCC to serve the best interests of the local community, as laid out not only in historical documents, but also in the 3-part vision. So in other words, we want to open up the building even more than, much more than has been in the past few years, have it be a refuge, and have it serve people who are teetering on the edge of homelessness. So are there any questions before I make a motion? No, okay. Well, then I move that we sign this again and have it be our guide for the next 2 years. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gail. And do I hear any voices raised in opposition, or are there any questions? No, then I assume then that we all support it, and I will say that it was approved unanimously by the directors who are present, which I don't know how many of us are left here right now, but certainly Gail, Steph, Kimberly, Laura Lee. Okay, so it's at least 4 of us. All right, very fine. And All right, very good. Well, thank you very much. And I'm glad that you approved it.
Hey,
Then-
Stephanie,
Yes,
this doesn't have anything to do with the neighborhood agreement. I think that's great. I just had a general question about the community center. I remember, did it ever get resolved on who actually owns the building?
no, there's no title. And it looks to me like Multnomah County dropped the ball a long time ago, right? Multnomah County initiated construction of the building and contributed a lot of funding to it along with the city of Portland, and then there were some other sources, and then turned operation of the building over to nonprofit that had been created to construct the building, and then never assigned title ever. And so it was just really strange that that never happened, but it's hampered us. Andy Nelson tried to get a loan 2 years ago, and the bank wanted to see the title, and there was no title.
Yeah, and the only reason why I bring it up is I really love that we're working on this neighborhood agreement for that being one of the reasons. I think it's just so important to have it intact. So thank you for putting that together.
Okay, well, you're welcome, and I think it's very promising, and keep your fingers crossed about getting a little office there, because that would be a huge help, and it would give us an official presence at the community center too. And I think, Gail, you probably remember when the BDNA had an office there, right? And something went wrong, and we lost our office, but now looks like we're going to restore that. Right. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment.
Money to rent our office and they kicked us out.
Say the first part again.
Somebody offered them money to rent our office and they kicked us out.
Really?
Yeah. That was a couple decades ago, but still, we had an office. That little tiny office between the kitchen and the office.
No, this would be the one that they're offering us now is a little teeny office that's up by Russell's office. It's up by the front desk.
Yeah.
So BDNA had the office between the lobby area and the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's a huge area. Wow.
It's
I mean, compared,
not that big, but it was big enough for us.
oh, it's huge compared to what I'm hoping to get now. Oh, okay. All right, let's see. Now I need to try to regain control here. I'm forgetting where I am in the agenda. Okay, so now we need to approve the communications thing. So every year we get money from Southeast Uplift, and we have to use it on some form of outreach and communications. And all right, so I need to share screen again, and then go here. All right, so can you see this Excel spreadsheet now? Yes, no?
Yes.
Oh, okay, fine, good, all right. So what happens every year is what happened in February of 2023 is we got $500 from Southeast Uplift, and we committed, or we predicted that we would work on website, that we would do community outreach with a mailing, and then we would do more community outreach with events and ads and flyers and so on. And so we actually spent some money setting up a Squarespace account. We spent money on stamps for Derek's mailing to households. And we spent money on an insert for that mailing. And in the end, we spent more than $500. So we have more than met the requirements of Southeast Uplift, that we spend the money in the categories that they that they requested. So I need to send them a report with receipts from all of this that we spent. I've pulled the receipts together and I just have to fill out their form, but I can't do it unless you approve my sending this form with these numbers in it. So I move. First of all, are there any questions about the expenses? Okay. All right. Well, I move that this report on the expenses that we made this last year be approved for submittal to Southeast Uplift. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gail. All right. And there are no questions, I gather. So do I hear any opposition to this report? Okay, I'm going to assume it's unanimously accepted. Thank you very much. Okay, and then there's another part that has to be approved. This year, they're going to give us $750. And so I'm proposing the following. I may have told you that I took initiative to upgrade the WordPress site to an $8 a month account just to get rid of those terrible ads and so on. And I'm starting to become convinced that maybe we should stick with WordPress for a while and make the best of that site, and maybe spend a little money on a WordPress consultant who can help us put a community calendar and some other useful things. And then I'm wondering about postponing Squarespace for a year or so, and I would repay BDNA because I didn't. It's my wild goose chase in a sense, and I don't want it to hurt us. But in any case, I'd like to propose to Southeast Uplift that we're going to spend $96 a year on website improvement, probably WordPress. And then I want to spend $480 on MailChimp, which we upgraded in August so that we could send out lots of emails in support of our partners. So that was community gardens, the schools, the food pantry, and there were a couple of more. And I think we're very helpful to our community. And so I think that having MailChimp as a tool for supporting our community is really important. And since the amount that we're getting from Southeast Uplift has been increased from 500 to 750, I would like to use the MailChimp upgrade, the upgraded MailChimp. I'm just estimating that it will cost about that much per year. Have Southeast Uplift paid for that because it's outreach for all kinds of people all over our neighborhood. And then finally, we would do community outreach via events such as movies in the park, Spring Green, tabling at Earth Day. And we need to print a new brochure and more inserts and maybe get some cool swag, better handouts. Laura Lee. Yes.
I was curious about MailChimp. Does that have different levels? Like what are we paying for it right now? And then this is just, and if we are, how much? And I think the upgrade is a great idea. And I think it does serve our community very well. I was just out of curiosity, wondering how MailChimp functions.
It goes in numbers. It bills us according to numbers of emails that we send. So we have 1,142 people signed up for MailChimp. And if we send out, I don't know, maybe 3 things to them in a month, then we're charged $32 a month. But if we then add in Master Gardeners and say Lane Food Pantry, then that's again, 1,142 twice plus hours. It goes to a greater number of outgoing emails. And so then it gets raised to, I think it's 52. So it depends. Right now, this month will be at 32 because we're not really sending anything. So it just goes by volume, Laura Lee.
I see. And so your $400 or what is it, 480 is kind of a rough
It's
estimate.
very rough.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was curious about. So yeah, that's great.
I took some 30s and some 50s, but I think it's a very valuable tool. We're getting more and more opens of those, the emails that we're sending out on MailChimp, plus more people are going to our website now. And I think it's because of our MailChimp mailing. So I think this is very valuable. And since Southeast Uplift will pay for it, then let's do it. And then, so I've estimated that, you know, we can spend as much as $826 there. So some of that will be our own money, and but 750 will be from Southeast Uplift. So if are there any more questions? Okay, well then I move that we approve my submitting these numbers to Southeast Uplift for our expenditures in 2024. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gail. Is that about 8 seconds now in this meeting?
I'm on it.
Yes, you are. Thank you very much. All right, do I hear any opposition to my submitting this report on our behalf? Okay, so hearing none, I assume that this has been unanimously approved. Thank you very much. Okay, good. All right, so that's done. All right, now let's go and talk about Partum Gardens. Let me stop sharing here. And I'm going to come back here hold on a second. Let me think what is the best thing to do here. Okay, I want to go to our all right, I beg your pardon, just bear with me while I flounder around. And yeah, I don't want to share this, but I have to in order to get out of sharing. Okay, I need the other agenda, which is, okay, no, we need the board agenda. Okay, all right, fine. All right. Okay, share screen. And we want the board agenda. Okay. All right, so let me go to this part of the agenda. I don't think I can make it any really much larger. I can try. Anyway, let me tell you the story here. First of all, we have the managers or the co-directors of Partum Gardens here to tell us about their program. And I'm delighted that you're here. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. But let me just give a little background here. Partum Gardens needs refuge from the elements from November through, say, June, and has asked whether whether they might use the community center. And we have evenings to give away, and one Saturday afternoon per month to give away, but we don't have a mornings time, which is what Partum Gardens needs. So Impact Northwest is going to talk it over amongst themselves about whether the BDCC and the impact operation could accommodate Partum Gardens. And their impact people are meeting on November 4th. Today is November 2nd. I wanted to ask the board to approve Partum Gardens' use of the BDCC as a BDNA supported use. And then if Impact says yes, then Partum can just start up. And so we're kind of ahead of the game here with a lot of hopefulness. So I asked them to fill out an application for the use of the BDCC, and for it was filled out by hand. So I wrote up the when we talked about how does your program align with the purposes of the BDNA, I typed out what they had written, and I'll read it to you. Part-Time Gardens enhances the livability of Brentwood Darlington by providing a free weekly gathering for new parents and their families, and has a positive impact on community health and wellness. By creating a space designated for and designed around new families and their little ones, we give them time and permission to care for themselves, their family, and their community, which in turn fosters connection amongst neighbors and environmental stewardship. We protect and hold ourselves accountable to the places we feel connected to, and by being witnessed and supported not only on our parenting journeys, but on our path back to nature, we can better manage the great responsibility of raising children in Brentwood Darlington, while also giving them a healthy, functioning planet. So that is their statement. And Part-Time Gardens, when it's not seeking refuge during the rainy season, meets out in the orchard of in the Green Thumb area. So Annie, I would like to turn it over to you now, and you could tell us more about Part-Time Gardens and how long you've existed and whom you serve, and anything you want. So go ahead.
Thank you, Stephanie, for this opportunity. And Gail, I know you're sneaking out, but it's really good to see another familiar face. Part-Time Gardens we're in our second year of gathering. We started last April, and it came about as just a direct response to both our postpartum experiences. This is my co-founder, Heidi Schmigdal. Yeah. And I have a 2-year-old. Heidi has a 4 and almost 1-year-old. And we met in college. We reconnected during the pandemic. And after I had my son, I was just recognizing the great, immense need for support. And I am a pretty well-resourced person. And I felt like if I was experiencing, extreme feelings of isolation and feelings of just disconnection from myself, and I was just really seeking out like where are the parents in our community, and I couldn't really find spaces for new parents. And so I knew that if I was struggling, that there were other people out there struggling too. And I'm not one to sit by and let knowing that I could make a difference or create some sort of change, I oftentimes try to. And so I messaged Heidi. Actually, Heidi messaged me and was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm actually dreaming up like a garden gathering for new parents." Heidi's trained in somatics, has led retreats. Like, we both have been garden educators in our past lives, and very much like have used the natural world as a site of potent like connection and activation of, relationship to each other and the earth. And we figured this was like our latest calling. So Part-Time Gardens came about, and we are a community organization right now that is currently sponsored by Southeast Uplift, as just like y'all. We are hopefully going out for our 501c3 over the winter. We have to finish out a grant that Southeast Uplift is holding with us through June, and then we hope to be our own 501c3. I know that might not be like the best. It's a better scenario for y'all if we're just a community organization, but we can work that out down the road if need be, or like hold off on our 501c3 application. And currently we've met at Learning Gardens Lab. I live 3 blocks away from it. Heidi is also a Brentwood Darlington resident and is on 78th. And so it's just a gem. It's just a gem of a resource for our community. It's a site that is really special to so many people, and it just holds families so well. It holds mothers and like the kind of energy that we need to not necessarily be around, or new parents not be exposed to many cars. It kind of feels like this, like a very safe space. So we've been really fortunate to kind of like bounce around and partner with different people. But as we've gotten older, we've grown. Our first gathering was 4 people.
Mhm.
And our latest gatherings, I mean, weather has made less people, but we average around like 30 to 40 people a gathering. More recently, closer to like 15 to 20 because of the weather. So we are, yeah, looking for a place where we can continue to support new families in this neighborhood and just the greater Portland region. Really, people drive as well as walk and ride their bikes. And I think about probably like 30 to 40% of our community members are in the neighborhood. A lot of them ride their bikes or walk, but people also drive. So it would be a really big blessing to have access to not only covered space, but heated space and space with that kitchen. And just the building is really magical. And I think that we can hopefully be a mutually beneficial relationship with Brentwood Darlington and inject some of our energy and our like all of the families that are in the neighborhood. A lot of them don't know about the community center. When we've been talking to like close friends within our community about us speaking with you, they're like, oh yeah, I've never, like, what's going on over there, I've never been in there. And I think it could be yeah, hopefully a mutually beneficial relationship for both of us.
Well, right. Okay. Well, we're trying. I mean, I recommended Partum Gardens to Impact Northwest, and the fact that they've agreed to meet and discuss it is very encouraging.
Thank
So
you, Stephanie, for that.
we're doing what we can, and I will let you know as soon as I hear from Impact Northwest. But in the meantime, are there any questions? Okay, Kimberly.
Hi, I might have missed it. How often do you meet? And like how long? Just curious.
Yeah, we meet once a week every Wednesday from 9:30 to noon.
Awesome.
So
And also on top of that too, parents can come and go whenever works for them, and they're napping babies and
right.
and we're holding that container of time for people to come and go as they please, with the intention to support new families and their needs.
So it's just one day a week for like 3 hours. I don't think that's a huge ask.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping that Impact sees it that way as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
I gave a very positive presentation to Impact for Partum Gardens. And so Laura Lee.
So I 3 hours a week is not a big ask, but I think that it might be a big ask for them. Would you accept a smaller amount of time if that was the case? And also, I'm curious on when you're outside and your families are meeting, I'm imagining, I'm picturing kids running and playing and having a great time, and parent and mothers bonding and stuff like that. What would it look like inside the community center for your group?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So last winter, we gathered in an unused hoop house on the site. It's owned by Portland Public Schools. And the space that we were in was very similar, I'd say, to the size of the community room that we're looking at, that at the BDCC is. And, kids kind of adjust. Like when they're outside, of course, their energy can kind of go out. And then when they really kind of calm down, we do a lot of more kind of internal quiet work, offer more books, offer more play spaces. There's always a little workshop or some sort of offering that we try to bring that both can be an offering for parents to participate in, but also kind of pare it down and simplify it so that kids can be involved as well. But that's definitely something that we'll have to explore as we get into the space. And I know that there is some outdoor relieving areas, there's doors outside immediately rather than us going back through the building maybe and
We
potentially
should make
rep-
clear that Pardon Gardens has asked to use, the big room and the kitchen. And so then it's right next to the outdoor area. So it wouldn't be using any of the office space or the child development classrooms in the back.
Mm.
So
Right.
that might work well. I mean, because I don't think the impact staff use the big room during the they work in their offices. That's what I'm hoping. Gail, you have your hand raised.
We have a coffee maker, and there is a teeny tiny playground and the outdoor running around space. So it sounds perfect for you guys.
Yeah, I think the space is very nice for them. And so I've got all my fingers crossed that Impact will say, yes, let's do it. And it's a very nice complement to the Impact's child development program, which is what
yeah.
is carried out at BDCC right now by Impact.
I do
So
want to clarify though, real quick, that we're not like, we've made it very clear from the beginning that like we are not like a childcare, like you can't just like, you don't just come and like hang out with mamas and like let your kid just do whatever, right? It's very much like this is a place where you can come with your child and connect to other families. It's not like free for all for the children while the mom's like.
No, I made that clear
Cool.
in my presentation.
And thank you for bringing that up, because that actually, I'm sure you sensed that was my question before.
Yeah.
I actually oversaw with the Portland Parks and Rec for the parents and children to come into the community centers. And we had toys and tricycles and all kinds of stuff, and it was crazy and fun, but it didn't sound like that's really what your group was about. So that's why I was asking the question. So thank you for clarifying that. And it sounds very nice and lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always really nice. The hoop house last year, it was nice to have a space to gather inside if it is raining a lot. But normally what ends up happening is the kids with more energy go out, parents go out with them, and so it ends up being it was always smaller groups inside. So yeah, it's nice to know that we have access to the doors for the kids to go out with the parents.
Okay.
Yeah, that the park is just up the street, it feels.
Right.
Yeah.
And a bathroom.
And a bathroom. A
Bathroom.
flushing bathroom.
And plenty
Using
of
a porta
potties.
potty for the past year and a half.
And people are so delighted to have space to gather and be in community that they haven't even cared about
Right.
the porta potty, but they're like, wow, they're gonna be so delighted.
Okay, well, if Impact approves your morning use once weekly of the site, then you would be accepted there as a BDNA supported organization, and you would not be dealing directly with Impact, but with us. And so we set up some provisions that you are already familiar with, Heidi and Annie, but that use of the BDCC is up to Impact. We don't control the building, so we wish we did, but we don't. So they could end. They may agree to your use, but they could end it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also. So that's just beyond our controls. We just want you to know that straight up. And then if Impact does grant the requested use, we'll reapply for you every year.
Cool.
But it wouldn't just be permanent from the get-go. It will be a reapplication. And then we reserve the right to decline to reapply. That's just legalese for who knows what comes up. I'm sure it would never happen, but we're going to keep that clause here anyway, just as we're going to put in our bylaws that we could ask a board member to leave if necessary. And we never had to do that, but if we get a Robert Schultz or others, you may not know who that is, but that he is a terrible person. Anyway, then we would like Partum Gardens to market the program to Brentwood Darlington residents, because it is a Brentwood Darlington Community Center. But we understand that you have participants from all over Portland, and that's fine. But we do want our residents to know about it, and then you will in any of your written or electronic posts or publications, you will note that impact and BDNA are associated with your use of the building, and just display our logos, please. And it doesn't need to be huge, just small. And then if we provide liability insurance to you, and we'll talk about the insurance, you know, if you get the space, you have your own insurance, but maybe if Southeast Uplift for some reason it ends up providing it, as we did to the artisans market, then you could display the Southeast Uplift logo too. And we're talking about just a small little display of logos in a corner or something.
We would be happy to share that on our website too, you know. if
Oh,
it works
okay,
out.
thank you.
Yeah, we have a partners page, and I think this more than it meets the criteria that we've.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you. Because
Yeah.
we get leaned on, especially by Southeast Uplift, to make sure we acknowledge them. So, and then we would be posting publicity for Partum Gardens, but our publicity would be directed at our residents.
Perfect, cool.
So, okay, just so you know that. So are there any other thoughts or comments from, okay, Laura Lee?
Just really quick, do we know what the room capacity is for that main room?
I think Russell, the facilities manager, told me that it's 100.
Oh, well, okay.
And-
I'm sure you guys will stay within 100.
Oh, yeah, I think so. And but we need to verify that, because I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that Annie and I talked about before. Russell is still away. I'm remembering 100, but I have to verify what he told me that the fire department decreed. But I think I'm 99% sure that he's told me it was 100. So I think that will be fine. And then supposing that Partum Gardens exceeds that, you know, maybe they'll have to say might have to put a little limit on how many people can come or something. But that's something we can deal with. I think 100 is quite generous, and
Yeah.
it should serve you well. Good question, Laura Lee. And incidentally, it's a very safe building because of all these doors. There are doors all around the building. And I'm just impressed by how easy it is to get out if there's a fire. It's really, really well designed with safety in mind. Okay, are there any other questions or concerns? Okay, hearing that, I move that we approve Partum Gardens' use of the BDCC as a BDNA supported organization. That means we like them and support them, but we don't have to do any work. They have to do all the work. And so we would like them to be able to use this space as a BDNA supported organization. So do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gail. Are there any objections? Okay, hearing none, I deem this unanimously accepted. Thank you. Okay, Partum, you're in a good position. Now we just need impact, and then you're good to go.
Woo!
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we don't want to take any more of your time, but thank you so much for this opportunity, and thanks so much, Stephanie, for everything you've done. Yeah, we really appreciate you.
Yeah, no, it's a really worthwhile organization that you have got going, and so I'm hoping that you will be able to do this at the BDCC. We have several other approvals. I was wondering if we might be able to do them wholesale. They're all approvals of organizations that would be BDNA supported, but we don't do any of the work. We just think they're great organizations and we would like them to be able to use the BDCC. The three of them are on BDNA time. That means that Impact gave us some evenings to give away. And so three and one afternoon, one Saturday afternoon in November and in December. So the Artisans Market would like to use a Saturday afternoon to have another Artisans Market. The Impact Northwest Sun Community School would like to use a BDNA evening, and it's the night of the crafting circle, the 9th. The crafters have generously and kindly said they'll split the space with them, and the Sun people have said that that's fine and they're grateful. And then on another BDNA night, the Lane Middle School PTA would like to meet because they think the schools will still be closed and they won't have any place to meet. So they would like to use a BDNA night to come and meet on November 6th. So those three, this Artisans Market, Sun Community School, and Lane PTA would like to use BDNA allotted time and space at the community center. Are there any objections to those three? Let me go back to the to the agenda. You can see here the Artisans Market, Sun Community School, and Lane Middle School PTA. Any objections to those three? Okay, so I move that we approve them as BDNA supported uses on our time, on our precious time. Do I hear second?
Second, third, and fourth.
Thank you. All right, do I hear any objections? Okay, very fine. Then I deem these to be universally or unanimously approved. Finally, I just want to tell you about a new thing, and we're coming right up to you, Tina, and the Spring Green. But quickly, we asked Impact if we could let the striking lane teachers use the BDCC on weekday mornings. That's Impact time. And Andy Nelson, the executive director, said, okay, well, we'll do it for 3 days and see how it goes. That is, does it interfere with the work of the Impact staff there? And so I've been going 2 mornings so far, yesterday and today, admitting teachers to the building to warm up, use the bathroom, and then they go back to the picket line. And there has been no interference with the staff. So tomorrow will be the final day. I'll check with Andy midday, but I think that he'll say it's okay to use the building for the remainder of the strike. I think so. But he's wanted it to be a BDNA supported effort, that it's not Impact suggesting, it's us. And so that's why it's on our agenda. So are there any questions about this, or are any of you opposed to supporting the striking teachers?
Why did Impact Northwest not want to take it under their name? Why are they asking us?
I don't know. I think it's because probably because I asked. I asked first, and he said, "Okay, you're from the BDNA." No particular reason. He just said he wanted it to be a BDNA supported effort, and I wasn't opposed to it. And if that could get the teachers in, then I was quite willing to see if the BDNA board would support it. I can't.
Yeah, and all they're doing is using the restrooms and going.
Yeah. That's all. And also he suggested letting them use the living room if they want to sit down and warm up and so on. So that was his suggestion.
I see.
To extend more space to them. I can't really answer your question, Laura Lee. I don't know. I didn't I wondered a little bit about it, but then I was so grateful that he was willing to give it a try, that I just threw that little thought away. Maybe he felt that impact as a Portland-wide type organization. Well, I don't know. And this was a local lane school. I don't know. Maybe he
Yeah,
just
it's
felt
neither here nor there. I was just curious
I
because
see. No, he didn't explain. I didn't ask. And I
I think it's because of they technically rent the space through Portland Parks and schools, right? So that's who they
they rent-
legally are attached to.
I'm sorry, say it again, Tina.
Isn't the BDCC attached to Portland Public Schools, and that's who we technically rent from?
Well, what it is Portland Public Schools owns the land. No one
Right.
owns the
So
building.
legally, they don't want to get into a political twist.
Oh, you know,
Why
that
not
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe that's what crossed his
While
mind.
we serve the community, they still rent from Portland Public Schools.
Right.
Okay.
that's a very good point. Thank you for.
Thank
bringing
you
it.
very much, Tina. I didn't even go down that road, so that
Legal
makes
loopholes are amazing.
loopholes like us, the BDNA. We serve the
Uh-huh.
community, and these
Nope.
teachers have been incredibly grateful for the use of the BDCC, and they feel very supported, and the impact staff there is totally for it. So I think we'll be able to continue through the strike. Keep your fingers crossed. I'll be checking with Andy Nelson tomorrow afternoon to see whether we continue next week. But there has to be a BDNA person there to let them in and keep them from wandering into the wrong spaces or whatever. So I've committed to going over there, and Lisa Jameson is going to spell me on a Tuesday morning, which is nice. So anyway, so what do you all think? Do you think it's nice? Do you support using having the teachers use the BDCC under our auspices?
Yes.
I like that. Saying, okay, the BDNA arranged this for the striking teachers.
Well, we've always liked to partner with Lane. So this is another partnership.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to move that we support use of the BDCC by striking Lane middle school teachers, and they would be like a BDNA supported program, like the Artisans Market, only it's striking teachers. And we'll contribute somebody to sit at the front desk. It's probably going to be me. I live so close, and I can work while I'm there. So I move that we support this effort. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Do I hear any objections? Okay, hearing none, I deem this unanimously approved. Okay, so we have a nice list of BDNA associated or initiated or facilitated uses of the BDCC. So I'm really, really happy about that. So thank you everyone for supporting this. And I just want to say, I don't want to make these decisions by myself. I want the board to always weigh in on every single entity that applies to us to use the BDCC. You may know things that I don't know, and also I don't want to be a dictator. It's not my right. So anyway, I really appreciate your going through this list and supporting all this. Okay, we're done with the approvals. All right, so Tina, can you speak to the Spring Green tasks? And again, thank you to board members who signed up for tasks. I really, really appreciate it.
I want to thank everybody for that has signed up. We currently have 57% of the roles and positions in the volunteer chart already signed up for. Out of the remaining 43%, half of that is actually spots for the day of. So this is really phenomenal. The other half is a challenging part. It's the finding people that are pseudo screen tech design savvy or willing to learn it. So between now and the end of November, I'm asking touch bases with people that you know in the neighborhood, your neighbors, your friends, ask them to sign up. Because it has personal information in it, I'm asking that you as a board member take it upon yourself to sign them up for it instead of sharing the link. Because I don't want people that aren't part of the board or so officially affiliated with the board to have access to personal information like emails and phone numbers. Just privacy wise, it doesn't sit well for me. And so with that, as soon as the month is wrapped up, any spots still available, I will go ahead and do a sign up sheet that is more privacy entailed to then go out in the newsletter, the mailing list, which is MailChimp. It's been typically used as an ad space, but it's really a newsletter. And then I'm currently working on putting this into a calendar format so that everybody knows what their timeline is. The first person I'm going to be contacting is Vivian, because you volunteered to contact our vendors. So I'm going ahead and shoot you an email with a list of their contacts, the previous year's email requesting them to do things, and then I'll just text you that it's there so you can do it within your leisure within a month. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So thanks everyone. And this is actually looking like it's going to actually pull off really smoothly.
Yeah, I think so too. And this is going to be fun. And we'll make sure that everybody knows when to make their move, you know, when to start doing their thing, as you just demonstrated with Vivian. And so will be very supportive. It should be a well-conducted thing where people don't feel like they don't know what to do or when. It should be something that's very enjoyable, where we're all working as a team. And thank you very much, Tina, for setting up that spreadsheet and making this happen. And really appreciate it. Okay.
I just want to say real quick to thank you guys, whoever put together the spreadsheet. I felt like someone had given it some real thought into laying out what needs to be done and grouping the tasks together appropriately. So thanks for doing that.
Oh, thank you, Vivian. Yeah, no, this is Tina at work. So yeah, thank you, Tina. Oh my gosh. Okay, so onward and upward with Spring Green. All right, so in just a moment, I'm going to give you a Sparrowhawk update and Precision Cast Parts donation update. But let me just take this chance right here to say that, you know, we won't be meeting in December, but I'm going to work like crazy during November and December to finish drafting a work plan and budget through May of 2024 to bring to you, if everything goes right, in January for your revisions and commentary and contributions. And I also want to draft out a proposed recruitment plan for board directors, advisors, and volunteers to be initiated, you know, soon after, maybe in February. And then if I can find out anything about this darn tax thing, I'll let you know. But I'm going to give priority to our work plan and budget and our recruitment plan, so that we feel launched in the new year's on some purposeful business, exciting business. I think there's so much that we can do, and we're gathering experience and trying to and honing our resources, and we're opening up the BDCC, and we're learning how to make really good use of MailChimp. And so I feel lots of exciting things are starting to develop, and we have the Spring Green coming up. So, all right, now I want to go to Sparrowhawk update. So I'm going to stop sharing here and then go to a spreadsheet that I want to use. Okay. Okay, so in our fiscal sponsorship account over at Southeast Uplift right now, I already told you this, $351.53. Okay, we just concluded Sparrowhawk and we made $1,656.23. And Precision Cast Parts has given us $13,233.48. And that amount is already in our account at Southeast Uplift. And so we're adding almost $15,000 to our 350. And this is hugely exciting for us, and also amazing. I want us to make good use of this money and really serve the community well with it, so which gives even more importance to having a great work plan and a budget. So next time around, my next report is going to show this this blue line here, and it's going to look very different. It's not going to say $351 anymore. As far as Sparrowhawk is concerned, I want to give a big shout out to Linda Goldser. I don't think she's still here, but she, Master Gardener, supplied virtually all of the volunteers, and Linda was just there every day being so helpful and supportive to me. And that was, I really needed that because I knew nothing about Sparrowhawk or how to get through it, and she made it possible. And so she was very supportive, and we ended up with $1,600 as a result. So that was really wonderful. And then as for the precision cast parts, I want to ask your advice about something. I feel that that money was offered to us on the basis of BDNA's reputation from the last several years, not this year. And those several years were choreographed by Chelsea Powers. And I don't know how you feel. I'd like to hear a discussion, but I would like to honor Chelsea in some way. I mean, right, there's a little rift between us. I hope will go away eventually, but I feel that she did some amazing things with BDNA, especially the political forums that put us on the map, so to speak, in the minds of local people. And certainly Precision Cast Parts felt that BDNA should get this money, which is left over from the big lawsuit. So what do you think about planning some honoring of Chelsea in the new year?
I like it.
Okay. Vivian, you probably didn't know Chelsea, so
I don't really know.
Next Thursday.
I beg your pardon?
You want to talk about it next Thursday? You and Tina and I can talk about it.
Oh, next Thursday, right? Okay.
It's the only time we're meeting.
Next Thursday, or the next meeting Thursday?
No,
this is the crafting circle. I'll be showing up.
Oh, okay.
Fun people and the crafting people and so on, and we could maybe talk about how we might plan, how we might go about honoring Chelsea. So are we just the only ones left now? Me, Vivian, and Tina, and Gail?
Yep.
The others have dropped off now. Okay. All right. So yeah, oh my gosh, it's almost 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, everybody, but there was just a lot to get through. So, with no meeting coming up in December. Okay, well, Kim's not here to give the report on Southeast Uplift, so we're not going to have that. And we could call the meeting to an end right now. I'm sorry to have kept you so long, but
Stephanie, sorry, can I
Yes.
can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
You sent out an email about the placemaking grant project.
Oh, yes.
Has anything happened with that?
Oh my gosh, oh shoot, yeah. Well, we had a meeting at which various people proposed different ideas. And so this the staff of PBOT, which has this $20,000 to spend, is going to mull over these ideas. And then I think they're going to make a decision about how the money should be spent. So I recommended, I wanted to hear have making signs for our ag community. So that was a contribution I made. Pam Hodge proposed that a wall that runs along Precision Cast Parts next to Arrow Heights Park be painted with whales or sharks or porpoises or something. And just to give a water theme, or no, salmon, that's what it was more appropriate than porpoises. To enhance a water theme for the nature area down there. And so the planners were a little reluctant about that one, but they were thinking, well, maybe if the salmon were designed by school kids. So the planners really want this to be not a mechanical thing where you install fence posts or something, but where it's some sort of community building affair,
Sure, yeah.
social affair. So there were a couple of more people at the meeting who advanced ideas. One was that was for markers that show you are entering Brentwood Darlington, for example, or you are
like a
entering
gateway
Woodstock,
entrance.
yeah. So the planners will get back to us.
One or
and
two
tell
left
us.
from the last time.
I beg your pardon?
There used to be several, and I think there's still one or two left. There was one at Grocery Outlet, Brentwood Darlington Community.
The Brentwood Darlington Community Center? Or no?
Sign.
I know, but that just said Brentwood Darlington neighborhood?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I have never seen them. Oh.
It's the fence at Grocery Outlet on 72nd.
Oh, I'll go take a look. Yeah, okay. So Vivian, when I know, I'll tell you, but
Okay.
I
So
think
that funding has been secured by PBOT already. They're just trying to figure out how to use it.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, that's great that there's going to be something.
Is something will happen.
Hopefully it's good.
Yes, okay. All right. Let's call an end to this meeting. Thank you for sticking it out to the end here. We got a lot done. I think there's a lot of promising stuff happening, and I'm excited about the new year coming up. And I'm really happy that the board signed up for tasks for Spring Green. I think it's going to be fun. Okay, so Gail and Tina, I'll see you next Thursday, the 9th. And
Yes.
all right, very fine. Okay, well, good night, everybody. Thanks again for hanging in here, and take care. Have a wonderful weekend.
Night.
Thanks. Have a good
Bye-bye.
night. Bye.
Bye-bye, Vivian.